那我就开始喽。Okay.
All right.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Whether join us in person or tuning in online, it's a pleasure to welcome you to today's speaker sessions hosted by the Overseas of Taiwanese Engineer Association or OTEA. I'm Chang to you, and it's a true honor to be your host for this event. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Wilson Chang, a highly accomplished structural engineer with over 15 years of international experience. Dr. Chang's academic credentials are impressive. He holds a PhD from the University of Nottingham in the UK and a master's and a bachelor's degree from National Cheng Kung University in Taiwan. Moreover, his stature as a chartered engineer in the UK speaks volumes about his commitment to excellence and professionalism in engineering. Throughout his career, Dr. Chang has worked on diverse projects spanning various sectors such as stadiums, transportation hubs, and commercial and education facilities. His expertise in structural dynamics, blast protection design, and hostile vehicle mitigation strategies is highly regarded. He understands that modern engineering requires more than technical know-how. It demands a focus on safety, performance, and resilience, especially in the face of challenges posed by seismic activity, wind, and human-induced vibrations within intricate structures. Today, Dr. Chang will share his insights through his talk titled Design, Creating, and Connecting the World, Engineering Consultancy in the UK. He will delve into the unique qualities that characterize the engineering industries in Taiwan and the UK, drawing insightful comparisons and constructions. Additionally, he will discuss the essential skills highly regarded in the UK market, shedding light on what the next generation of engineers can do to prepare themselves for a successful career. This is particularly important when the engineering landscape is constantly evolving. For those of us who might be starting our careers or considering our next step, Dr. Chan's guidance will be invaluable as we navigate our paths in this global field. Before we welcome Dr. Chan to the stage, I curious everyone to think about any questions you might have. After his presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you can engage with him directly. So, Will Chan. So,
Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope my sound is okay to everyone. So bear with me a second. Let me share my screen. All right, I hope everyone can see my slides. Okay, I think let's say yes. Good morning, good afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. I'm Wilson Chang. Thank you for giving me this opportunity today. I will share my experience in the civil and the structural engineering consultancy in the UK. What is civil engineering? This quote is cited from the website of the Institution of Civil Engineers. It says civil engineering is designing, creating, and connecting the world. As engineers, our work is shaping a better world in one way or another. I found that connecting the world is a very interesting definition. And I was wondering how we could explore and connect with the world more. Therefore, I will share my experience in the UK with you. Firstly, I will give you an overview of the UK engineering market. Secondly, what is it like working in the UK, and what skills may you need? Finally, I will give you a brief about a few things you may need to know before coming to the UK. Let me give you some of my background so that you won't feel like a stranger is talking to you. I finished my first and master degrees in Taiwan, and then came to the UK to study my PhD. I started my career in Taiwan doing structural and engineering design, and then I moved to London after getting a job offer. I was fortunate enough to work on some iconic projects in Taiwan. In the UK, I work in blast engineering, which might be strange to most people in Taiwan. Security design is a very specialized market, and the blast protection design deals with the threat from terrorism and malicious attacks. After working in both Taiwan and the UK, I found that the engineering market in both countries is different, but has some similarities. Based on the statistics, UK civil engineering generated a revenue of 366.3 billion US dollar, which is about 11% of the UK GDP. It is expected that the revenue will increase by 25% by 2030. Many projects are ongoing, such as London Gateway Port building extensions, Gatwick Airport's Northern Runway, and the nuclear power stations. Each project is worth multi-billion pounds. Working on UK engineering projects also allows the engineers to gain international exposure. Engineers are able to collaborate with people from different backgrounds and nationalities. In some companies, international assignment opportunities are also available, allowing people based in the UK to work overseas to gain different experiences and then return to the UK after the assignment. Based on the same source, the civil engineering market in Taiwan generated revenue of nearly 57 billion USD in 2023, which is approximately 7.4% of Taiwan's GDP. There are infrastructure developments, such as projects for metro lines and high-speed rail. Offshore wind farm projects will be another trend in Taiwan for the next 5 years. However, the international collaboration opportunity in Taiwan has room to improve. The typical disciplines in a UK engineering consultancy included architectural, civil, structural, or geotech. Some engineers may be involved in project management, and that experience may enable them to shift their career paths to other business consultancy companies. The energy market in the UK allows you to work on renewable energy, water, or nuclear-related projects. Sustainability design is not only a tick box exercise, but an element to be considered throughout the project life. The aerospace and the defense market is another special market, especially the defense sector. Working on those projects will give you opportunities to collaborate with the military or government, and that may give you a unique experience on your CV. The next market is security. I wasn't aware of this market until I started working in the UK. People in this market usually have a background in civil or structural engineering and the mechanical engineering as well. There are also people who came from the military or policing forces. Increased possibility for global collaboration is another invaluable experience. As I mentioned earlier, working on international projects, taking overseas assignments, and collaborating with people from different backgrounds are very common in the UK. Some companies have a fund for employees to do research and development projects. There are many companies promoting innovation and the digital transformation, as that would improve productivity to the company and the industry. For people who are not familiar with the UK market, here are some UK-based companies or international companies that have UK offices as well. The list is for your reference, and if you are interested in exploring opportunities in the UK, you may start with this list. Okay, so I want to talk about work-life balance, salary, and skills you may need if you want to work in the UK. So what is the work-life balance in the UK? Just like this picture, generally speaking, it is much better than what is in Taiwan. Long work hours have become the norm in Taiwan, and some think working overtime demonstrates a positive attitude in a company. However, unnecessary overtime work is not productive. For example, my contractual weekly hours are 37.5 hours in the UK, while it was 40 hours in Taiwan. However, the typical weekly hours in Taiwan were more than 40 hours in general, I think. Salary. This is essential information if you are looking for an overseas opportunity. The graduate engineer may be in the 30,000 pound a year range. And that depends on the company and the location as well. Then after you gain more experience, the salary could be more than 1,000K a year for the senior roles. For the comparison purposes, the median UK salary is around 37,000 pounds a year, and then the 90th percentile income in the UK is about 66,000 pounds per year. I categorize the skill sets in the UK engineering companies value most into 4 aspects: technical, commercial, soft skills, and holistic thinking. Developing good technical skills and broadening your engineering knowledge are essential in the first 3 to 5 years of your career. Gradually, you will develop awareness and understanding of commercial skills. A good soft skill, such as communication skill, is beneficial when you progress in your career. Combining technical, commercial, and soft skills would demonstrate your ability to provide holistic thinking in your projects. If you are based in Taiwan, the desired skill in most companies is usually technically oriented. Commercial knowledge and communication skills are less emphasized in the early career. However, communication skills are essential to everyone's job. That can help you to convey your ideas to people at different levels. In addition, you can demonstrate your technical and holistic thinking more easily. I'll give you a high-level introduction to the professional qualification system in the UK. A professionally qualified engineer in the UK can be called a chartered engineer, which is short for CEng. An engineer can get their chartered status with various institutions, such as ICE, the Institution of Civil Engineers, and IStructE, the Institution of Structural Engineers. Some people get chartered status with the IET, which is Institution of Engineering and Technology, or IMechE, which is for Institution of Mechanical Engineers. Most of my colleagues, they get their chartership through those institutions. The chartered status in the UK allows chartered engineers to gain mutual recognition in Europe, the USA, and the New Zealand. And then they can apply the International Professional Engineer recognition as well. CEng is widely recognized in the Commonwealth countries, such as Canada, Australia as well. And chartered engineer qualification is well recognized in Hong Kong as well. To pass the chartership review, engineers must demonstrate that they are competent and possess the knowledge to the CEng level. Similar to the skill sets I mentioned earlier, management, commercial, health and safety, and the communication skills are emphasized in the UK. Working towards chartered status includes many details, and I cannot cover today. And if anyone is interested in this topic, please feel free to pass your questions to me. Based on the attributes list, the differences between developing a professional engineer in Taiwan and the UK are obvious. Taiwanese engineers have very good technical skills, and the latter is the strength you can use to explore overseas opportunities. To work or live in the UK is not straightforward. Therefore, the following section will give you a direction for what to prepare. People in the UK from overseas are commonly coming because of study and marriage, getting job offers, or as expats. To work in the UK, you need a working visa. That can be the skilled worker visa, graduate visa, or youth mobility scheme visa. These three are the most common type of visa. Um, Firstly, a skilled work visa needs to be applied by your employers. You will not be able to apply for it by yourself, and then you cannot change employers without reapplying the visa again. Secondly, a graduate visa is a visa for students to stay in the UK for a period of time after they have finished their studies. It is a very good visa that allows students to stay in the UK to gain working experience. However, the UK government recently announced that the maximum duration for the graduate visa is likely to be reduced. And lastly, the YMS visa is for people who below 30 years or 35 years old, depending on where you are from, to live or work in the UK for up to 2 years. More and more Taiwanese youngsters are coming to the UK with this type of visa. There's a list of shortage occupations in the visa application system. And that means that the people who work in those occupations on the list are deemed the desired tenants in the UK. Those occupations could gain more points in the visa application process and are likely to have a higher success rate of visa applications. Occupations in engineering, such as civil engineering, structural engineering, mechanical engineering, etc. IT is another category that the UK welcomes. And if you are interested in academia or education, the good news is that they are also on the shortage occupation list as well. I've talked about a variety of projects in Taiwan and in the UK. I also touched on the essential skills in the UK from my personal experience and the perspective of professional engineers development. Working in the UK may enable you to gain international recognition. I hope that what I covered today gives you more understanding of UK's engineering industry. And I wish more and more Taiwanese engineers will pursue overseas opportunities. Maybe I will see some of you in the UK in the near future. And I hope this brief presentation give you some interesting points and you find something useful today as well. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone want to add something to Wilson Chang? Yeah, well,
Okay, I see so many lessons or skill we have to do something. If I want to go to the UK, I have to take this one. But for me, in Taiwan, I have a professional engineer the license. So if I get the international the P, I can change the license to UK.
Um, the short answer is yes, it's possible. There is a way for you to use your international professional engineer qualification to convert into chartered engineer. I don't know the detail of this process, but I believe you may need to submit some documents, probably including your project experience. But I'm not sure whether you will need to do any interview or not, because for the chartership exam in the UK, that includes basically two steps. The first step is to demonstrate that you have adequate experience. That means you need to submit your project experience, and also you have your sponsor to review your achievement stage by stage. So that is the first part for the paperwork. And the second part is engineers need to pass we call a professional review, chartership professional review. And that is an interview that you need to present your you need to prepare a presentation that is to demonstrate all the attributes, and then there will be two reviewers to ask you questions from different perspectives. So usually everyone need to pass this interview, but because the international professional engineers qualification may have a different procedure, so the worst case might be you still need to do the professional review, perhaps, but I'm not sure. But I know international professional engineers license can be exchanged to chartership, to chartered engineer in the UK. It is possible, yes.
Okay, thank you. Doing now I'm working in India, so I guessed maybe the India the role or about some rule is similar UK. So I think this one maybe they can understand my background or I do a job maybe similar, but I think some level different. In India, maybe for the overseas people, the rule follow the internet, but maybe for local, I think no. Doing the range different.
Okay. Yeah, I think India also recognized the UK's chartership.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, I think it's because the historical background. Yeah. Yeah, I hope my answer is okay to your question.
Okay, thank you. Doing now I don't sure where I can go, but I think maybe one day I want to go to UK. I will try the way. Doing
Yeah.
I'm beginning have a license. I can easily find any job. Doing the way I also can look at Australia. Doing I know some people also change their license in Australia or maybe China. So now I think where I can to choose. So every country, I also to ask the question. Doing I know, for example, America also can change, but not all center can change. So I also think about like the issue, always to think. But maybe one day I just back to Taiwan. I don't sure. Okay, thank you. Your answer.
Okay, does anyone else? 自愈黄
Hi everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Hi. Hi everyone. Hi Wilson. I am Stephen,
Hi.
and I am a structural engineer working in London as well. So it's quite nice to meet you online from this meeting. And I just got a question about, because you've mentioned about you are working sorry in kind of like a security department for the UK security projects. So I just wonder, do you need to pass any kind of like security clearance to allow you to access the project? Because I know some of the project will be quite restrictive to, I would say, for foreigners to allow them to do. So yeah, so I just curious about if you need to pass any like security vetting or clearance check.
Yes. For people to work on confidential projects, people would the client usually have a requirement for people to have adequate security clearance. So the security clearance system in the UK is like there's the basic security clearance called BPSS. So BPSS is for people, I'll say, usually there's no strict condition for people to get BPSS. It's quite straightforward, and the application time will probably just like a few weeks, then you can get BPSS. And this is the basic security clearance. So if you want to work in the security industry or work on some confidential projects, BPSS is usually the basic thing you will need to get. And then the next level is SC, security cleared. And that is the second level of the security clearance. And that means you would be able to access the official sensitive information. To get that security clearance means you will need to at least stay in the UK for 5 years. So 5 years is the minimum requirement. If you haven't stayed in the UK more than 5 years, that means you won't be able to get SC clearance. Then there are also higher level of the security clearance, but not everyone will need that. So usually BPSS is the first step, and then SC. The next one, you probably, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the system. The third level, probably DV. Some of my colleagues, they have DV, but not a lot. One is basically not really worth to get that. Then another point for this I want to say is there's no point for you to apply for security clearance by yourself. Usually your company should apply that for you. And if you are just working on commercial projects, you probably don't need SC or BPSS. So it really depends on your projects and your companies. Yes. But if you want to, or if you need to work on the sensitive or confidential projects, then yes, you will need to have adequate security clearance. I do. I personally do have that. Yes.
Yeah. So the SC clearance. So you mentioned about it, they will require you to stay in the UK at least 5 years. So
yes.
Which means that you will maybe got a chance to apply for the PR. Does the SC clearance can be? Do they only allow to be? Do they only allow British citizens to apply for?
No. Any nationalities could get SC. It's not about your nationality. Yeah. So if you are still not a British citizen yet, but you stay in the UK more than 5 years for any legal reason, you may be here to study or as a family members of your partner, for example. But you are not a British citizen yet. But you are already stay in the UK more than 5 years legally, and then you should be able to get SC.
Okay, cool. Yeah, understand. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Jasmine, please.
Okay. First, I would like to thank Wilton for sharing your experience with us. And because myself is also a structural engineer, and I didn't know anyone who are working on the security consultant side. Yeah, so lots of questions for you. And I think your job is fantastic because you are dealing with some, security consulting stuff. So my first question is, did you design a building or a box to anti-explosion? It's a box or it's a building?
Sorry, say again. Building or what?
Yeah, I mean, you design a building or a box. I mean, because you are mainly focusing on the anti-explosion and anti-vibration, right? Because from the introduction on Facebook, and I find you have lots of experience, designing the anti-explosion and anti-vibration stuff. So is it a building or is a box to prevent bomb explosion? Something.
Usually, as a building.
Okay.
Yes, a short answer is usually would look into the impact to the whole building. But then it depends on the project as well. So, for example, I think most of the HS2 stations or some of the underground stations, they also need to consider the blast protection. It's because based on the UK's counter-terrorism framework, so there's a requirement for the key stations or infrastructures. Let me put it in this way: the public infrastructures will need to consider counter-terrorism. So that means not just blast. There are also other security elements that we need to consider. So, for example, Euston Station design include blast protection. But because that is a very big project and the design package is sometimes divided into different small packages. So those small packages sometimes just cover, say, a few platforms, or maybe the facade or the canopies. And in this kind of projects, we don't design blast protection to every station components. So that means sometimes we need to design the new element, then some of the existing elements, they are difficult to be strengthening. So in that situation, we probably just design the blast protection to some parts of the inner station, but leave some part of the station. So I hope that describe the scope of the
Yeah, I got it now.
blast
because
engineering. Yeah. Just sometimes it's harder to decide blast protection for the whole building, especially let's the existing buildings. So yeah, sometimes we do the localized analysis as well.
So I think that's quite interesting. So based on your previous working experience in Taiwan, how do you think about the anti-terrorism or anti-blast mechanism for all those MRT stations in Taiwan?
Short answer is no. None of the projects in Taiwan considered counter-terrorism or blast protection. I think this is because there's no need. There's no need to consider blast loads or blast straits. I can share one of my experience, which is my colleague was involved in Taoyuan Airport Terminal 3 project before. So my colleague went to a meeting in Taiwan, tried to understand the security need for Taoyuan Airport Terminal 3. But then I think in the conclusion was there was just no need to consider that for different reasons. So you can say it's quite safe to live in Taiwan. There's no terrorist threat. Although it's not the best way to say that. I think all the important airport or important infrastructure were considered security as well.
I think, that's good to know that we don't need to consider that. So, so initially, I think probably your project most likely will be like bent boat or some underground bunker for some rich people. They will build some underground bunker and then they need some security and anti-explosion. Okay.
Yeah, actually, most of my projects are coming from private sectors. Bank, yes, for sure. Then not really. I just think that doing this for wealthy people. No, not really. Some of the buildings in London or in the UK, they do have blast protection design stations. I also have clients from government or military as well. Although I cannot share their name, I cannot disclose the information, but it's actually quite common. Not common. Yeah, but not really. Yeah. Some of the building include blast protection design, but I think most people just don't know, not aware of that. And maybe some of the tube stations you used or people used, they do have the blast protection elements somewhere, but most people just don't recognize.
Okay, yeah. So when did you get into this area? Is it your first job after graduation?
No, I started as a structural engineer doing seismic design, high-rise building design in Taiwan. And then I came to London in 2014. Then since I started working in London, and I worked in security. So basically, it was because at that time, my previous team, they are looking for people with knowledge in structural dynamics. So it's still structural engineering related. Yeah, so maybe I can give some of the background for how I get this offer. I was looking for overseas opportunity during that time, so I was looking for the vacancies of structural engineers, but then the one, so I applied one position for structural engineers, but then the HR come back to me, told me another opportunity in blast engineering. And I was thinking, I have no idea what is blast engineering. So I thought, okay, I know nothing. And I don't know whether they'll be interested or not. And then after a few weeks, then I thought, yeah, why not give it a try? So yeah, I replied the email to the HR saying, okay, maybe, yeah, just give me a few more information, a few more details. And yeah, so then after that, I was interviewed by the team. But then the interview was really focused on structural engineering, structural dynamics, or reinforced concrete design, those kind of typical things I think most people here will understand. So as I said, blast engineering, you can, to simplify that, you can say, okay, this is just another type of the external load, just another type of the load in your design. If you are working on the structural design, you use wind load, seismic load, maybe perhaps impact load or human human impact. Those kind of loading you considered in your design, and blast is just another type of the loading, and you still use the knowledges in steel design, reinforced concrete design, or even seismic design. You can apply the knowledge of seismic design in blast design. So yeah, so I'll say as a structural engineer, I think you probably have more, you have a wider range you could explore not just the typical structural design. The last is another type of the sector you could explore as well.
Thank you so much. So my last question is, how about how is the British economy now?
Mhm.
And is it easy to get laid off? Yeah, under
Easy to
current
get off.
situation.
I think it's hard to say. This is really a big question. It's probably difficult to answer in a few minutes. But I think you probably can see the news on TV. A lot of government policies will impact the market. Then will it be easy to get laid off? Difficult to answer that. I think it also depends on company to company, and there's no guarantee. If you join one company, then you will have a secured career for 20, 30 years. And if you join a big company, then you'll be you'll get fired easily. No, I think there's no such things. But I see some of my colleagues, they have like 20 or 30 years experience in the same company. So if you ask this question to them, they will probably tell you, no, it's difficult because they already stay in the same company for 20 or 30 years. So, but in terms of the overall economies, it went down a little bit, I have to say. Yeah, British pound was very low after Brexit, but then got back a little bit now. But I'll say, generally speaking, I think it's fine. It's okay. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's probably all of my questions.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next, Yao Ten Chang.
Okay. Hi, Wilson. And I have two questions for you. Why did you choose to pursue your career in the UK? Well, most Taiwanese people tend to go to Australia and United States. And the second question is, do PhD programs in the UK usually offer scholarships or are they mostly self-funded? Okay, that's my two questions. Thank you.
Yes, UK, working or study in the UK, I think it's not always on the top of the list for people in Taiwan. I think I came to UK was because I have friends. They wanted to study in the UK. Therefore, I got the information from my friends at that time. I was serving in Navy, So think I could study English while I serve. And so I just study English, and then take the English exam, and then made my application. And because I was just thinking, right, I just give it a try, and if I didn't get any offer, any university offers, then I would try again, maybe apply the university in the state. So yeah, luckily enough, I got offers from the university in the UK. So yeah, I just think, yeah, since I got the offer, then yeah, why not? Yeah, so, and also it's because after I studied in the UK, then found that civil engineering was one of the shortage occupation, as I mentioned earlier. And now they want people to work in civil engineering or structural engineering. So yeah, there's also one of the reasons that I choose to work in the UK. Although after I finished my PhD, I went back to Taiwan and come back to the UK a few years later. But I just, yeah, started here first, and then saw some opportunities, or I saw the the value for doing civil engineering in the UK. Therefore, I came back. Sorry, what's the second question? I forgot.
The second question is: do PhD programs in the UK
Yes.
usually offer scholarships?
Both. There are scholarship opportunities as well. And if you are able to self-funding, yeah, the university will also welcome. But in terms of the scholarship, it's quite demanding, and most of the scholarship they were offered to Europeans. If a student coming from Europe, they may have more options for scholarship. People from Taiwan may have less options. Let me put it in this way. But there are still scholarships options for Taiwanese students as well. I hope that answers your both questions.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Chang, for your insightful and inspiring presentation. I confident that each of us leave today with something invaluable, whether it's a fresh technical perspective, a career sense of direction for our careers, or a real appreciation for a critical role engineering plays in bridge gaps across the globe. On behalf of OTEA and all attendees, I want to express our gratitude for your time and the generous share your expertise. And everyone here today, thank you for your participation. And we appreciate your involvement and hope to see you at the future events where we continue these meaningful conversations. If someone wants to ask more questions, and we can use Chinese and moment. So wish you all an excellent rest of the day. OK， 我们接下来就是进到那个中文提问的环节。那如果有人还需要再多了解的话，可以用中文问问题。